Hi there, welcome back to my channel and welcome back to my Disneyland video series with my very good friend Janice. Now you're probably wondering, what is this on my desk? Well, I actually missed a little bit of the footage at the beginning because I wasn't exactly sure how this was going to work out. These will be the foundation pages for my next layout, and today we are scrapbooking Galaxy's Edge at night. These are my foundation page from a scrapbook workshop I did almost 10 years ago. And yes, it was a Disney workshop. Here is the image right here of how this looked before I started to pull some of the elements off. Now you can see here that I have a little bit of damage on my page, and I was not able to save that yellow piece. 10 years ago when I created this workshop, I was super excited to play with this paper, and I really didn't have Disney photos in mind. And you know what? Galaxy's Edge did not exist 10 years ago. So when I started to pull things off my foundation pages, I was not able to save some of the embellishments and that yellow piece, and that's what caused quite a bit of damage on the foundation page. But I was able to save this. Let me show you how I'm going to take these two foundation pages and turn them into my brand new Galaxy's Edge at night layout. Let me clear this out of the way and I'll bring my photo selection and why I selected them. Let's take a look at the foundation pages and see how I'm going to modify them to one, finally use these pages for the photos I want to document today. Remember at the beginning when I said that I wasn't able to save that piece of yellow pattern paper? Well, that's okay because I was able to bring in this red one, and this is part of the collection. And because I have damage here at the back, I decided to group my pictures into a collage style. So now I have one big piece that's going to hide pretty much everything. I do have a little rip here at the bottom, and I still have some of those embellishments. So I was pretty lucky. I will add this at the bottom right here. And no one's going to be the wiser except you, of course. But you see how I am able to reuse something that I did almost 10 years ago, and it was sitting in a bin, pretty much collecting dust. I decided if I wasn't going to use it as is, then I was going to try and modify it to suit the photos that I want to document today. Now, a lot of people ask me, how do you do workshops and not add photos? Well, now when I create workshops, I'm a little bit more mindful. I will look at some photos that I have and try and look at the quantities that I might want to put on a page. And because I print from home, it's not as difficult. Back in the day, I was not printing from home and most of my photos were 4x6. So that's what you saw in the sketch that I showed you at the beginning. Now I am going to, again, see here, there's a little bit of damage. I decided that I was going to kind of group my photos together. Usually I would separate them out, but now that I have a nice big piece, I can hide all of the damage, if you want, that I created when I was trying to lift things off to reuse the foundation pages. This paper collection is no longer available. This is an old collection from close to my heart. It was called Magical and it's over 10 years old. So of course I did hollow out this red piece because it was the back of the blue, just in case I want to bring it back into my scrapbook as I'm documenting my stories 10 years later. I remembered that I had done a workshop and I remember the black stars and the blue, and because I had so much blue in my photos, I really wanted to find this layout, and I'm glad I did. Now I will have to really carefully remove this piece, and as you can see, it came off here quite nicely. I'm not going to reintroduce it because I'm going to be chipping away at this and I will be using the undo. Now this product is a really good product, but if you are sensitive to smells, this is pretty toxic, I find. So I make sure that I open my window when I do this, but it had to be done. So I will kind of chisel away at this. Hopefully it's going to come out nice and clean. The other thing that I do when I'm removing things is that I use my rub and remove, and if there's any residue, I can gently kind of rub on that and it does come off. Now, you know, in hindsight, I probably should have just picked the photos that fit the layout. But of course, I had more photos that I wanted to document. And the reason why I'm using this way is because I really love the paper and the colors were perfect. Now, if you saw the thumbnail, you're probably wondering, well, what is that all about? I'm going to jump on my phone and I'm going to show you how I managed to alter this photo here. When we were walking through Galaxy's Edge, and as you can see here, the photos are pretty spectacular. There was not a lot of photos of us in that area. This is the only photo that Janice took of me. And then when I was looking to document this page, I'm like, Janice, I don't have a picture of you in this location. Let's jump on my phone and I'm going to show you how I was able to modify this photo right here and add Janice to this background. It's actually easier than you think. So let's jump on to my phone and I'll show you how this can be done. You're going to click on photos. In my case, these photos are in a shared album. I'm going to go back to my shared album, and as you can see, we have tons of photos to document. You cannot do this if they're in a shared album. You need to save them to your phone. So see, this is the background photo that I want to use. I'm going to click on that. I'm going to scroll down and I'm going to save that to my camera roll. I'm going to go back in. I'm going to get the photo of Janice. So this is a photo of Janice. It's the same night, just not in the same location in the park. I'm going to save that image onto my camera roll, and then we're going to go back to the camera roll. And if you go back at the top here, recent days, you will have the photos that you did today. Otherwise, they kind of get mixed in with the dates. But I've got my 2 photos and I'm ready to go. I'm going to start with this one here. This is the photo of Janice. And I am going to click on her and I'm going to go add sticker. It's going to add her in my sticker bin and I'll be able to bring her into the next photo. So this is the next photo. You can see that Janice is not in this photo. I'm going to click edit at the bottom, and then from edit I'm going to go up here to the little pencil. From the pencil I'm going to go here to the plus sign. And then I'm going to add a sticker. In my case, I'm adding Janice. I'm going to add her to the background. So I'm going to size her to fit the scene. And the best way to do that is to zoom in, take a look at the people at the back, and then I'm just going to size her right on the step. And the fact that she has a foot in front of the other makes her look like she's coming down the stairs. And there you have it. Now I have a photo from my scrapbook of Janice in Galaxy's Edge. Let's take a look at where I'm at in reconstructing this layout. Now I hope you enjoyed that really good hack in adding someone in a photo, because I definitely wanted a photo of Janice with this gorgeous scenery in back. And who knew you could do it with your phone? You do need the iPhone 15 and up to be able to do these types of edits on your phone, but I think it's a lot of fun, and I'm super happy that I could add Janice on this page. Looking at this layout now, would you believe that I took it all apart and I reconstructed it? Yes, I did create myself some limitation. I did have to kind of hide quite a bit back here. There was a little bit of rips, and this embellishment is here because I'm hiding a little rip part at the bottom. And then I did stack my photos, but you know what? I probably would not have created this layout had I not started with those foundation pages. So I'm here to tell you it's okay to modify them. This was a 10-year-old scrapbook layout with no photos, and it was going nowhere fast. So I'm really happy I was able to do that. And I'm pretty sure when I was telling you that I had to get rid of that zip strip, that you probably thought that is not going to come off nicely, and it didn't. So I was able to camouflage the rip with a little bit of black glitter paper, and I think that that matches perfectly. Again, would I have necessarily done this layout? Probably not, but I'm really happy on how it's working out. Now I just have to add my title in the original layout. Let's pull that back up here for a second. And the title was right here at the bottom, and it was kind of small. Now, if you've caught my other videos where I'm documenting my Disney album, I want to keep to the same theme. So I went back to my Cricut, of course, and I did a print and cut, and I love the title. The title reads Under the Galaxy Stars, and it really was like that. Now, I didn't have a lot of room, so I did have to kind of manipulate my title so that it would fit, and I had to extend it on this side, but I'm fine with that. Now that I have my title, I'm looking at my layout, and I want to add my journaling. Now, my first thought was to put my journaling down here at the bottom, but I had to bring everything down to accommodate for my title. I wanted it to be nice and bold, so that meant that everything came down. I was looking at this area down here where I thought I wanted to add my journaling, and I wasn't really feeling that. So, tags to the rescue. I'm telling you, 9 times out of 10, tags will always rescue a layout. Do you see up here? I have a nice empty spot. If you want, I was able to die cut. And yes, I went from Cricut to die cutting. I was able to die cut a tag. Now, I didn't have that much to say, only that this was a pretty magical place. So I knew that I could fit this on a small tag. So I'm going to add my second tag here. You know what? I think I'm going to add this one hanging out, and this one can be up here. And then I'll have my title that continues. And do you see how it really nicely finishes off this corner? Now, if you're in Cricut, you will find different images, especially if you have access. And I found this image of Batu. It's kind of like a silhouette. And I'm going to add this right here. And I have an elongated, if you want, triangle. And I think that that's going to work. Now, what's a layout without a little bit of bling? And for this layout here, I wanted to reach for stars because of the theme. And I remembered that on my layout, I used to have little sequins down here. So I pulled these out. These are the orange and yellow dots from Close to My Heart. And you know what? The color is pretty spot on. Look at that. It's pretty spot on. So we're going to add a few of these here and there. And I have a couple in here. Hopefully I have all of them. I think that this color works well. So I'm going to add a couple down here. And what I like about these ones is that they're nice and flat. And they don't add too much bulk on your layout or your page. I've got 1, 2, 3. I think that looks good. And I can put 3 on this side. I'm going to add my title right up here. And it is on foam. And I tried to, add it all the way through. I could have, stacked this with cardstock in hindsight, but I was getting excited to finally get photos on this layout. Can you believe it? This layout, or the base, is 10 years old. So this is a good tip for you. If you have a title and you don't want it to be too small, don't be afraid to kind of go over onto the next side or the other page. And it kind of draws your eye naturally to what's going on the other side. I will add twine in here. Let's see if I can add a few more of those little stars. I think this is good. I think the sprinkle of little stars everywhere really, really adds to this layout. And again, if you look at that original one, those were quite big and stealing the show. right now what's stealing the show are these photos. Let me bring these up so that you can take a nice close look. I really, really like the way that this turned out. I hope that you've picked up a few helpful tips here today on how to document your Disney stories. And don't forget, Janice is collaborating with me on this series, so her video will be posted down in the description box below. Have yourself a fantastic day, and if you love Disney and you love scrapbooking, you're gonna love this playlist right here. I'll see you there. Bye for now.